Thank you. Thanks, Chrissy, and I will attempt to explain that. Does this just fire up automatically, Shane? So I know we're running short on time, guys, so we'll jump straight into it, and I'll try not to keep you away from your morning tea. The company, here's a pro forma snapshot of where we'll be once we've finished the general meeting at the end of this month. So this gives you an idea of the capital structure. 213 million shares on market. We'll have in the order of $30 million, $35 million in the bank. The directors hold around 11.5% of the company. We've got some good big US resource funds in there as well, and Northern Star and Silver Lake both have a good chunk of the register. So this is on our website. You don't have to write everything all down. You can download it or come past the booth and grab a copy. Our directors, our board, Paul Chapman, Finance, and Les Davis, Mining. So founding directors of Silver Lake Resources. We've got Philip Crutchfield, Legal. He's Zipco founding chairman. We've got Tony Polglaze. He's our mill guy in construction. And then myself, I'm a mining geologist. And I spent time at Daisy Milano in the early days of Silver Lake. So the acquisitions, what we're picking up, Coyote and Paulson's, picking these up from Northern Star. This gives us 3 projects now. So we've got our Calais project and these 2 new acquisitions. We're picking up 724,000 ounces at about 3.8 grams per tonne, so decent grade. 2 really well kept facilities, and strategically they're the only facilities in the areas that they exist. We're paying about $61 an ounce, which we think is quite fair, and I'll talk to that in a minute. We have a very good track record of being able to add resource to the acquisitions that we've made in the past, and I'm sure that's going to continue with these ones. So we've got a 5-year plan. I'll try and articulate that to sequentially start our operations and get all 3 up and running at the end of 5 years. So what we're paying, this is the consideration here, it's just under 45 million. It's cash up front, there's shares to Northern Star, there's another cash payment next year, and then there's milestone payments once we get into production. In terms of the comparison of what we're paying, that $61 an ounce to some other gold acquisitions recently, we think it's a pretty good valuation. If you look at it cost per ounce, or if you look at the grade that we're getting compared to most of the transactions, the fact that we're getting 724,000 ounces, it's high grade, and it comes with 2 processing facilities, 2 camps, and strategically located infrastructure. It's a bargain. So eventually we'll get a re-rate and people will recognise the value in the company, and I expect we should get some good uplift at that point. So here's an overview. Coyote's up in the Tanami, so a long strike from Calais over in the Northern Territory. We've got a good ground holding here, good 500,000 ounces in resource, high grade. We've got infrastructure, 300,000 tonne per annum facility. We've got the only camp in the area, the only milling facility in the area. Historically, it's produced an average of 35,000 ounces per annum for a period of 6 years before it was shut down. It's in care and maintenance. Paulson's, this is the asset that started Northern Star Resources, took them from a explorer through to a production company and gave them the leg up to where they are now. So good land holding here in the Ashburton. There's resource there. They've got a reserve there. It's on Northern Star's books, I can't talk about that. The 75,000 ounces per annum is what this has produced over a period of 12 years, so it's very consistent production from this particular mine. Again, it's on care and maintenance, it's ready to be restarted pretty much, but we were going to give that some drilling time. And then our Calais project is obviously at Kalgoorlie, just outside of town. We've got 1.3 million ounces there that we've built up in the last 4 years. We've got mills there, we're finishing our studies. It's pretty much ready to be developed when the time is right and when there's availability in the industry to do that. So in total, we've got installed milling capacity now, we've got decent high-grade resources, and we've got great land holding to keep discovering. So I'll talk to each quite quickly, and come and see us at the booth if you'd like more information, obviously at the end. So Coyote's up in the Western Tanami. There's an image of the plant. 300,000 tonne per annum facility. It's got the administration, it's got stores, and it's stocked. It's got It's got the camp. If you had to replace it, it'd be in excess of $60 million. There's good high grade here, and the jewel is the underground grade, 10.4 grams there at Coyote, so we'll get back into that. There's also about 400,000 tonnes of stockpiled ore. We have a plan here, a 5-year plan, and it starts with in a soft way, and that is to refurb the mill and then start processing those lower grade stockpiles. This is a long section now. So historically, Tanami Gold mined the dark grey areas here as an underground, and there was a small pit. The light grey areas are the remnant resource that's still here, and then obviously everything is open in our opinion, and ready for drilling and ready for growth. Our plan is in red, so we've got a 5-year plan. It starts with some stockpiles on surface, then we get into an open pit. That'll take a couple of years to mine through. Put a new portal in, so brand new infrastructure, decline down into the Kavanagh lode, which was never touched historically. Mine that at a minimum width of 2.5 metres. That'll give you a head grade out of the underground of something like 7.5 grams. We'll break back into the old workings and we'll go and access that remnant material as well in time. That's not currently part of the 5-year plan. And of course, it's open for growth, so we'll be doing a lot of drilling here in the near term and growing this resource and building that plan up. Regionally, there's a lot going on. We've had Dr. John Hronsky give us some assistance here, and we're planning to do quite a bit of exploration in the area. Lots of good targets. We've got the big north-west trans-Tanami structures. They run all the way through the Tanami belt, where they intersect the right stratigraphy, and where there's cross-cutting structures is where we're going to be targeting to find additional deposits. There's lots of other grade in the area that's been drilled historically. It needs follow-up, and so we plan to be the guys that do that. These numbers at Coyote, they're outside of resource, so they're the sorts of numbers that we expect to be hitting and following up on once we start drilling here, which we'll be doing as soon as we can. And then Pebbles, Bald Hill, Osprey, there are other targets in the area. So you can see there's lots of grade. Really, this remote part of WA and Northern Territory has a lot of grade that's very prospective for big gold deposits and high-grade gold deposits. Jumping over to Paulsens. So again, the asset that started Northern Star, and they took this over and continued mining from where Intrepid left it. It's consistently mined 75,000 ounces per annum, and it's been left really well cared for. So the facility is well maintained. The underground is dewatered, ventilated. Again, be very expensive if you had to go and build this again. There's reserves in the underground. We'll convert them over to us in the long run, and we'll go and do a lot of drilling to obviously add resource. So again, there's a low capital restart, and it could happen quite quickly, but what we're going to do is give it some time, find the extensions, find the repeats, and from that point we'll then restart this operation. So first cap off the rank is complete structural review. Look for where the offset is taking the ore body at depth. Certainly it looks like it's offset. There's repeat structures. You can see that in the geophysics. We'll be chasing those up. There's a lot of mineralisation in the gabbro veins that needs follow-up. It's not something that has ever been a focus for the previous miners. So there's a lot to do, and we'll have an underground rig back in here next quarter at this point, and we'll be back into this. In terms of some of those seismic and the targets that are sitting there that haven't been tested, 3D seismic suggested that directly below Paulsens, along the same fault that controls where the mineralisation is, there's another gabbro. It's the breaks in the gabbros that you're looking for. Well, that's what Paulsens is at the very least. So that's a structural trap. No holes in that, so we'll go and target that, and there's several others in the area as well. There's a lot of regional opportunities that really hasn't been a focus for previous operators in the area. Again, we've had a review by John Hronsky. It's the big regional structures and displays off those. You're looking for trap sites, either rheological, structural sites that could host more gold. There's several other resources in the area: Belvedere, Mount Clement, Merlin. So we'll be looking at those, chasing those up and growing them, and looking at a lot of the other anomalisms, because there's a lot of base metal and gold anomalism in the area. So lots of big regional targets to chase up. Again, lots of drill hits in at Paulson's itself that sit outside of existing resources, so good numbers, high grade underground deposits, and we plan to follow these up and obviously grow the resource. Back over to Cal East, we floated on this project back in 2018. We had 80 square kilometres, no resource. So we made a discovery fairly quickly. We've grown that through being very active. We've made some acquisitions, and for every ounce that we've acquired, we've actually added another 1.5 ounces through drilling. There's a lot more to do here. We think there's a lot of growth still in this area. We've picked up 2 mills last year. I think we talked about that here. And we've had them refurbed in BLA's yard there in Kalgoorlie. We're still finishing off a few studies. We want to get grid power out to site. With the cost of diesel at the moment, that's important. But right now, if you try and build a plant around Kalgoorlie, good luck. I mean, for us, we think the time's not right to do that, and so we've said we're going to pause that construction at this point. We still are looking at ways that we might be able to actually start mining though, because there is some capacity around town in some of the mills, and there's several mills around already. So we're looking at whether or not we can get an option to get some toll treatment done over the next 12 months. And that should bring cash flow in during 2023. So we're still going to be very active here. We're still growing resources. All of our resources are open and they need more drilling. Fingals, we've released some results a couple of weeks ago. Again, lots of high grade, showing trends and potential extensions away from the existing resource. So pretty exciting, and we'll be continuing that work as we pursue the other 2 new projects that we've got. Our ground holding is great. We have control over the main structural features that are going to host and will locate where the gold is hosted. So it's a great little project here outside of Kalgoorlie. Busy slide. I don't have to worry about it too much. There's a bit of a 3-year schedule, and I'd welcome you to come and grab a copy from this in the booth. And there's a bit of a 5-year plan. So, as I said, in 5 years, we'd like to have all 3 operations going. The first one to be turned on, we'd probably start some stockpile reprocessing at Coyote next year. We might be toll treating at RIU next year as well. But there's going to be a lot of drilling which will lead to the conclusion of the study and a decision to mine at Coyote at the end of 23. That is to restart open pits. Paulson's, we're going to give it a couple of years of drilling, make some discoveries there, and then kick that in the guts. That could come all the way forward because if we have good success early on, it's very quick to restart that. And then we'll build Kalgoorlie. Hopefully it'll be cash flow out of the other 2, or it might come further forward depending on how things go. I'm on the last slide, Chrissy. So look, we've got 3 great projects in 3 top-notch areas in terms of gold exploration. We've got a strong board that have done this before. They've built other mining companies. We'll be drilling these high-grade deposits in the near term, and we should expect lots of news flow. So we've got 2 million ounces already, high grade, and I think it's going to grow very rapidly. So thank you very much, and please come and see us at the booth.
Thank you very much, Gareth.